The Razorbacks come back from down 31-16. They guarded that well. They guarded that entry pass well, and that's a huge win for Cal and Arkansas. Their first quality win of the season.
They needed that. I mean, they needed that. I mean, you want to show the defensive ownership and maturity to when you build a lead like that in the second half. You got guys that aren't worried about what's going on offensively. It's about getting stops and closing out that game. But you got the one that mattered at the end. And I thought Tyler made a good point. You know, Michigan started turning the ball over in the second half, and that plays right into Arkansas's hands in what they want to do. Because sometimes they have so much randomness in their half-court offense. Randomness is not always the best thing in half-court offense, but this team thrives in transition. And as many times as they can, they need to get their asses out in transition because randomness is fine in transition. Transition basically is randomness. So play like Tyler mentioned, really liking Brazil. That's a guy that needs to get out, run the floor. Wagner, Fland, Nelly Davis, run the floor. They need to run and honestly stay out of the half court as much as they can. But tonight, you were, I don't want to say bailed out, but DJ Wagner hit some massive shots. Should have been 3 threes in a row. His foot was on the line for one of them. But, this could be an inflection point for Arkansas. And understanding, hey, we knock off a ranked team on a neutral floor. It's the net will take kindly to this type of win because of where Michigan's at. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe this is a springboard. You would hope if you're in Fayetteville and you're watching this, you hope this is a springboard because I know it's been a little bit underwhelming here to start the season.
Well, in the second half, Arkansas shot 16 for 33. You said it. They did clean up turnovers, but they were able to force them. In the second half, they get out on the break. They forced 12 Michigan turnovers, 12 of them in the second half. And when this team gets out on the run, like any Calipari team, you know that he's got the talented guards to be able to get up and down. And in the second half, DJ Wagner, if you sold stock on him, he proved you wrong in the final 20 minutes. He had 16, 5 assists, and 3 rebounds in this game. And Boogie Fland, he took 18 shots, but he was better in the second half. And he ended up with 7 assists to just 2 turnovers. Like this is the type of win. Tyler, if you're Arkansas and you lose this game, the questions mount. Is this going sideways? Look at where Kentucky's at right now. There's pressure on Cal here to win at Arkansas. People hear that. The kids hear that. And they were down 31-16, Tyler. They looked like they were going to get humiliated at the Garden tonight. Says a lot about that team that they figured out a way to come back. But you know what the big thing was, too? John L. Davis had a couple of key plays in this game. He had the game-winning deflection there for Arkansas. So, Tyler, it's a not perfect. We'll talk about things they got to work on in a moment, but you got to give credit where it's due. Cal just got a key win at Arkansas, his biggest thus far as Razorbacks head coach.
Yeah, this is a big win for them. You can never take that away. Michigan's a very quality opponent. John L. Davis, first of all, that storyline, he was scoreless in the first half, and he turned it around in the second. And that's one thing you got to give Arkansas credit for is they didn't have a great first half. They came around in the second and really turned it around. Excellent night from DJ Wagner. I've always kind of believed in him. But Adu Thero is a guy that's really improved. I like him. I like the Brazil kid, even though he's been injured and he hasn't had the smoothest, career as a college basketball player so far. I think he's dealt with a lot of injuries, some coaching changes as well. But he's a player that can go. He's probably a future NBA player as well. But in all honesty, Fanta, I walk away from this game. I think Michigan's a better team, and I think it took DJ Wagner having a hero night and trying to lift this team up past Michigan. And when I watch Michigan, I'm very impressed from the Wolf kid, his size, the way he can handle the ball, and his passing ability. And the Vlad Golden player he's tremendously improved. He is no longer just a rim protector. He is a scoring threat down low. He rolls to the rim really hard, and he makes defenses have to collapse, which opens up outside players for wide open threes. I'm impressed by this Michigan team. They showed a lot of heart, even though they didn't get the win. I think that they're a fun team to watch, and they're a team that when it's all said and done, I haven't been the biggest cheerleader for the Big Ten. They could be a team. I could see them, winning some games in the tournament. I like Michigan.
Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Tyler. I think there's a lot to like about the optionality that they have offensively, and they came into this game. They're a good defensive team. So for Arkansas to hang 89 on them, that's really good. And so I look at the versatility of Danny Wolf that's obviously been on display. Needs to take care of the ball. Like when he takes care of the ball, he could be like a first team All Big Ten type of guy. Almost a triple double tonight. I just think his size and versatility. I think he's going to have at least a cup of coffee in the league. I think he's that good. But yeah, I mean, looking at the Big Ten, right?
Yeah,
and it's so wide open. It is anybody's ball game.
It is really wide open. From the Midwest all the way out to the West Coast. I mean, there's a couple of West Coast teams that are right there, UCLA and Oregon.
Yeah, a big one. UCLA getting the road win at Oregon the other night. Really, really impressed with Michigan, the effort they had tonight. But just quickly to put a bow on Arkansas. Tyler mentioned the defense and the concerns there. I talked about offensively wanting to get out and run more. If you want to get out and run more, you got to get stops. And you got to put yourself in position to create advantages offensively in transition. And the only way you do that, most times you can run on makes. You got to really train yourself to do that. But you need to get stops and finish possessions. And they didn't do that as much here down the stretch, but they had portions of this game where they were doing that, forcing turnovers and getting out on the break. And I think that's where they excel.
Look, this is a game that sums up the entire John Calipari experience in recent years. Arkansas was down by 15. By the way, it's Cal's first 15-plus point comeback win over an AP top 15 team since beating West Virginia 6 years ago. So this is the largest comeback win in terms of magnitude and in the game for him in over half a decade. They're down by 15. Their body language not great. Then they start to guard, and you start to see why they're a top 20 KenPom defensive team. They start to defend. They get stops. They're a stop-driven team. They are not a let's just play half-court basketball team, because you both know this. When you play a half-court game, the explosive talent that you have gets held back. It becomes more team basketball. Principles, ball screen coverage. And Arkansas is not a team that can play a real half-court, in-the-sand type of game, because perimeter shot making is not a consistent force for them. Tonight, they go 9 for 23 from 3. Boogie Flan shows up and scores 20. But the second half is about DJ Wagner. DJ Wagner took this game and put it on his shoulders and showed us why he came out of high school as one of the best prospects in his class, why there was so much buzz when he said he was going to go to Kentucky and play for John Calipari. Trayvon Brazile played a big boy game tonight. Now, he had 15 points. He had 6 rebounds, but he was 6 of 8 from the floor. Adu Thero is the guy he's unlocked a whole layer to his game. This is a heck of a win for Arkansas. It's a game, though, that they had to have in a lot of respects, because if you don't get this one, you're wondering when you're going to be able to break through, because you've had multiple chances. And let's face it, they got embarrassed by Illinois on Thanksgiving Day. Anybody who watched that game, you saw Illinois really torch Arkansas and beat Arkansas's defense. But on this night, you said it, Mike, to score 89 on that Michigan team, to show your guard talent, to find a way